Free speech? Britain knows nothing of free speech as they arrest over 12,000 people a year for speech code violations. Way more than Russia or China.
In places that don't have free speech,
Yes.
right? Like England, we've
where
talked
they lock
about it.
people up for memes and stuff. Literally.
Literally,
Yeah.
12,000 people this year.
12,000?
12,000 arrests for social media posts.
I mean, yeah, some of
Crazy.
these things you read about it, and it's like literally, it's someone had a meme on their phone that they didn't even send to anyone,
Right.
and they're like in prison for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a case in Germany where a woman got a longer sentence than the guy that raped her because of something she said on a group chat.
Wow. Was it an immigrant who raped her?
Yes.
Yeah. It was his culture.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He didn't know better.
Yes, I think she said something, not like was critical of his culture, and she got a longer sentence than the guy who raped her.
This is 100% true except for a few facts. For instance, the girl that was sentenced to jail wasn't actually the girl that was assaulted. The Telegraph, German woman given harsher sentence than blank for calling him a pig. A woman in Germany has been given a harsher sentence than a convicted blank after she was found guilty of defaming him. Maja R., a 20-year-old from Hamburg, called him a disgraceful rapist pig and a disgusting freak, defamatory under German law. He was one of 9 attackers who blanked a 15-year-old girl in a Hamburg park in 2020 in a case that shocked the city. Maja R. was sentenced to a weekend in jail for her verbal attacks. The blank was given a suspended sentence and served no prison time due to his age. The sentence has sparked anger over what critics see as flaws in Germany's judicial system, with disproportionate punishment for defamation. Maja R. expressed her disgust in a direct message to one of the gang blanks via WhatsApp after his name and number were leaked on Snapchat. She told the court she sent him a message without thinking twice. "Aren't you ashamed when you look in the mirror?" she asked, calling him a disgraceful blank pig and a disgusting freak. She also told the criminal that he couldn't go anywhere without getting kicked in the face, and let's hope you are just locked away. 9 men and boys. The man was one of 9 men and boys convicted of blanking a 15-year-old in the bushes of a Hamburg park over a number of hours, September 2020. All were under 20 at the time, allowing them to be subject to juvenile law. Only one of them spent any time in jail, an Iranian national who was 19 years old at the time, though it's not clear why. Speaking about the blank in court, he asked, "What man doesn't want that?" The rest of the attackers, including the one defamed by Maja, were given suspended sentences. Anne Marion Goring, the presiding judge, lamented during the trial that none of the defendants said a word of regret. Maja R. was sentenced to a weekend in jail after her comments because she had a previous conviction for theft and not attending the court hearing for the case. She apologized to the young man she had contacted, telling the court it couldn't help anyone. She added that she wanted to go back to school and study to become a pediatric nurse. Mild slurs. The case has laid bare Germany's harsh defamation laws, which criminalize causing offense with even mild slurs like idiot. Breaking the law can lead up to 2 years in prison. The district court said it received strong reactions over the rulings in both the defamation case and the blank trial, which it prompted. Hamburg authorities are now investigating around 140 more suspects for insulting or threatening the gang rapist, with 100 of the suspects based outside Hamburg. A court spokesman told the Hamburger Abendblatt local newspaper last week, we are observing the hostility in connection with the proceedings and the verdict with great concern." He said the anger over the case had reached a new worrying level of intensity and described the criticism as a targeted attack on the rule of law. What kind of society locks up its own citizens for insulting a foreign blankist? A foreign predator of your children. This is a society that has lost its moral moorings. This is a society that is close to collapse, to annihilation.
Well,
In Germany,
the UK, Europe, and Germany, England thing seems so insane.
It's totally insane. I actually didn't realize it was like such a huge number of people that got
12,000. Yeah, far above Russia, far above China,
right,
far above anywhere on earth. UK is number 1.
Well, things I actually, I talked to friends of mine in England, and I was like, hey, aren't you worried about this? Like, shouldn't you be protesting more? And I mean, the problem is that like the legacy mainstream media doesn't cover the stuff.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't, Elon. Here's footage of a woman being arrested for simply standing within, I don't know, a couple hundred meters of an abortion clinic with a sign that says, "Coercion is criminal. Here to talk, only if you want."
Okay, I'm arresting you under Section 1 of the Criminal Justice Scotland Act 2016 for breaching the Abortion Services Scotland Act 2024. The reason for your arrest is that I suspect that you have committed an offence, and I believe that keeping you in custody is necessary and proportionate for the purposes of bringing you before a court or otherwise dealing with you in accordance with the law. Do you understand? Yes.
And if you think that's outrageous, here are the police threatening a man for asking a foreigner if they know how to speak English.
Conversations between yourself, apparently you've alleged, we weren't here, so I don't know you said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English, or what's that effect? Speak clearly. Speak clearly. Potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
So I'm actually being arrested?
You're going to be arrested, okay?
Right.
Take that to the police station.
Right.
You, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page.
You're just holding us up for no reason.
Okay.
Well, have we committed a crime?
We're just trying to have a discussion at the minute.
No, I'm asking you a question. Have we committed a crime?
So at the minute, you've got the word wanker that's displayed on the side. So someone might take offence to that. I know, obviously, you might see it as a different way, but technically, it's a public order offence.
The only person who would take offence to that is Keir Starmer. Everyone else agrees with it.
I'm not saying anything in terms of that. I've got to remain biased, but that's obviously why I've come down to...
But if we've not committed a criminal offence, then can we go?
Well, just for the time being, we've got...
It's in terms of, you've got Britain First written on the side of the van.
So?
What's wrong with that? It's a prescribed organisation.
No, it's not.
What?
It's a registered political party.
Just 2 seconds, so whenever
Did you?
But obviously you're detained at the minute.
We're detained.
You know why.
We're detained?
Because we're a
prescribed terrorist organisation.
What? That is insane.
Heavens.
Prescribed terrorist organisation when we are a registered political party. A registered political party.
Unbelievable. It's got Britain First on the side and we're prescribed. And look how ridiculous this is. Turn the camera around and look over there.
Look over here. This is where they've pulled us up. That's right there. Illegal immigrants. Yet we're a prescribed terror organisation, according to that police officer.
Them designated Britain First as a terrorist organization is the same as them trying to designate America First as a terrorist organization. And how would you feel if the government was giving money to illegal immigrants like these guys right here? How would you feel? How do you guys think you would feel? Probably not too good. And adding insult upon injury. Here is footage of the police arresting a man for simply calling a woman a muppet.
You're under arrest for Section 4A public order offence.
Just give us your camera.
I'll explain a second. There's been a member of the public who you've apparently been shouting at and calling him a muppet.
Right, a muppet, yeah, and?
You caused him alarm and distress. She's very upset about it.
Wow. Arresting a man because he called another person a muppet. This is insane. And then these speech law codes are not only to do with what you can't say, they're also trying to control what you can say.
You're allowed to do anywhere.
No, miss, you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church grounds, by the way.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside
of church songs or church
You're not allowed
grounds.
President, you have a successful social media site. There are new powers here to censor your site, state-mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site and Twitter
truth?
and Facebook. I mean truth. Is that okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone. We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many cases in the United Kingdom of young children taking their own lives, and when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and encouraging, if you like, children down that road, and that is what we want to stop. There's nothing about censoring free speech.
But that treats all adults like children.
This country is the proud.
But that can treat all adults like children.
Free speech in this country has been for a very long time. We're very, very proud of it.
Shut up, Keir. Everyone knows that that law that you passed in Great Britain has almost nothing to do with minors and obscenity on the internet. It is all about censoring political speech, as evidenced by the UK's astronomical arrest rates concerning speech control violations.
The highest numbers of arrests for online comments in 2023. Hungary is at 10. Azerbaijan, which is probably not the most democratic country, is 13. Saudi Arabia, which is definitely not the most democratic country, is at 15. Egypt, 20. Vietnam, 45. The US, with 340 million people, 50, right? So on and so forth. We get to the United Kingdom. Guess how many?
Tell us.
12,183 arrests for online comments in 2023. That is twice the amount of Belarus, a dictatorial authoritarian regime, at 6,205, more than China at 1,500, more than Russia. We love to say Russia, Russia, Russia. They're mean, they're bad. Putin's a dictator. Only 400 in Russia. Russia seems like a free speech heaven compared to the United Kingdom. This is what people don't fucking realize. This is ludicrous, and it's coming to your neighborhood real quick.
And I'm sure that one of the main antagonists that the British government would like to arrest would be Elon Musk and other Americans who continue to stir up the pot.
The head of police now threatening extradition and jail time to U.S. citizens for online posts allegedly egging on the violence from afar.
If you're a keyboard warrior, you're not safe from the law if you incite violence.
Giving this response when a Sky News reporter asked about the controversial comments made by the riots on X by Elon Musk.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
UK authorities have already arrested their own citizens for online activity. For example, a 55-year-old woman was arrested for publishing written material to stir up racial hatred and false communication. 2 other British men also arrested for social media posts. The Prime Minister sending this warning.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
Well, thank God that the United States is not Great Britain. Thank God that we have a First Amendment. Guess what, Keir Starmer? Guess what, Metropolitan Police Chief of London? You can't extradite us. You can't do anything to stop us. In fact, the most you can do is just pass impotent little speech laws within Europe that we're not going to honor here in America. And that's exactly why we needed to defeat the Democrats, and we need to continue to defeat the Democrats because they want the United States looking just like Great Britain.
Shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, especially around our democracy.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged, is something that would be a better deterrent.
If people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block. It's really hard to govern today.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
The First Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. There are limits, and that's important. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
When you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. I believe that when it comes to broadcast television like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air, what isn't.
So my
biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways